If you want time to get faster, you just go closer to Christmas. Then it just goes
Super cool.
exponentially fast. Especially that time between Christmas Eve and Christmas morning.
Oh,
Yeah. Seriously, it's less than 60 days. Okay. That's not the Chinese things.
Don't tell that.
That's not the news.
That's all I ask.
My eyes were fading, but I guess.
Her eyes are so you think that are brighter now.
All right. Welcome everybody to the Kechi City Council meeting. It is October 26, 2023, and it is 7 o'clock. We're going to go ahead and get started. Debbie, could you please call roll?
Richard Gaddis.
Here.
Brian Adams.
Here.
Amy Baldridge.
Here.
Pat Brewer.
Here.
Todd Heskey.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. If everyone can please stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll move on to approving tonight's consent agenda. Council, is there any questions about tonight's consent agenda? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Motion to approve the consent agenda? Second.
Motion by Matt, second by Todd. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Move on to approving tonight's agenda. Council, I do ask that right after we approve the agenda that we have an executive session for 10 minutes for attorney-client privilege. Sorry. Any other additions that council would like to see, or any from staff? I see none, so I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with the executive session added.
I'll second.
All right, motion by Richard, second by Brian. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Move on to the executive session, and this executive session will be for 10 minutes.
Madam Mayor, I move we go into executive session. The subject to be discussed during the executive session is attorney-client privilege. The justification for closing the meeting is discussion relating to attorney-client privilege matters, and the time and place at which the open meeting shall resume is 7:13 p.m. in the City Council chamber.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by Brian, second by Richard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. We're in executive session. as we return to regular meeting, I want to remind everyone that pursuant to Kansas meeting open statutes, no binding action was taken by the city council while in executive session. We'll move on to tonight's communications section. Kechi civic groups and committees. Do we have any civic groups and committees who are here? And Emily is here from the fair committee, please.
Hello, council. Public. Trying to address you. So I just wanted to remind everybody that we do have our Halloween open house. That will be on Halloween night from 6 to 8 in the community room. So that is open to trick-or-treaters of all ages. We'll have treats and it'll be all decorated. It's looking like a chilly night, so I would incorporate that into your route. And then we're just looking forward for Christmas. Last year we did the Christmas light competition. We're going to do something different this year. That was the first year that we did that, just trying it out. So this year we're going to be doing a Christmas light scavenger hunt. That will be, we'll include that in your utility bill, so, and then we'll have extra copies as well. But, so if anybody here or online has something really cool at their house in Kechi that they would want to incorporate into the scavenger hunt, do message the fair committee because we'll be getting those out likely before everyone's decorations are up. But that should be a fun activity for everybody to kind of do at their own pace through the Christmas season. So that's all I have.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any other civic groups or committees? I see none. So we will move on to Kechi Good News. Council, any Kechi Good News you'd like to share?
I love that all of the trees are changing colors and it looks like fall here.
It does. Any other ones from council? If not, you always know I have some. All right. So I'm going to give a shout out to Amanda Haddock. She was recognized as part of 100 influential women in oncology. So congratulations for the influential work. I'm sure as everybody noticed, the water tower is getting its work done and it's going to have a really nice facelift. So I'm really excited that that's getting started. We're going to have some awesome new safety features that I'm sure Thomas is very excited about. And so it's going to be safer and up to code. Woohoo! And I also want to thank staff. They have been incredible this last month in our transition here at the city. They've gone above and beyond, way more than I could ever ask. And they've been very patient with me throughout this whole process. So I really want to thank you guys for all your hard work. So thank you guys. Anything else? If not, we will move on to public forum. Do we have any here tonight? All right. We will move on to old business. We have no old business. We'll move on to new business. Appointment of the city administrator. Number one is approval and acceptance of contract. Andrew, do we just need a motion or what do we need to do?
So you need to make an appointment,
Okay.
and then it will go to the council for consent and approval of the agreement.
All right. I make the appointment of Matt Gensby for city administrator. I would entertain a motion on this.
To consent.
Oh, to consent.
I make a motion to approve Matt Ginsby as city administrator.
Second.
Motion by Matt Brewer, a second by Richard. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
That's probably gonna be a problem going forward.
Do you want to separately now vote on the accepting the agreement, or approving the agreement, and authorizing the mayor to sign?
All right. I would entertain a motion to accept the agreement for Matt Gensby as city administrator.
I so move.
Second.
Motion by Brian, second by Todd. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. And now we will do the oath of office. Matt, if you could please come up.
Do I get to stand in front?
You do, and then you'll get your picture taken because we're always so awesome.
All right.
Sorry.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution
States
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and the Constitution of the State of Kansas,
and faithfully discharge
and faithfully discharge
the duties of my office
the duties of my office
of City Administrator,
of City Administrator,
so help me God.
so help me God.
Is there anything you would like to say before you go? Oh, and he's taking your picture.
Okay.
Oh, with me, oh no.
Yeah.
So close. Tried to move this long.
Thank you.
Of course. Thank you.
I would just like to thank Council, Mayor, for your support. It was a good interview process that we went through, and I look forward to working with the council, the city staff, and I think we're gonna have a good time. So, thank you very much.
Welcome. Thank you to your family, our family, for coming.
Yes,
We
my
appreciate having
family's
you.
here, my wife Kelly, my daughters Savannah and Carly, my son Caden, and his girlfriend Meg.
Well, thank you for coming. I appreciate it.
He's not on duty yet, but like, if you want to. So the next item we have on the agenda is street repairs, Arrowhead, Tomahawk, Tequila, and Huffman. Thomas, are you talking about it tonight?
I guess I can.
Sure.
I don't need it. Well, I guess-
Jaden, I'm sorry, Jaden. I'm having a night.
So every year we pick 3 or 4 streets according to the street plan that we had developed by PEC, I believe in 2016, 17. This year was kind of unique because we had Huffman pop up and deciding what to do with it. It kind of got pushed down the road a little bit, but I was trying to get these streets put on before we entered the 2024 season and push over. I'm not sure whether they will be able to do this actual work this year or not, especially with it getting cold. But I would like to get these streets on the books, that way it comes off this year. That way for next year's budget, since it's already set also, with the streets that we're doing for next year, that we're not trying to combine them, overlap them. I did receive 3 different bids. One from Pearson, which I've had for a while, one from APAC, and then one from Kansas Paving. The bids, they actually bid out each street instead of a package deal. A few of the quotes were for Huffman Drive to completely mill it back and basically turn it into dirt and then roll the millings back in, kind of leaving it as a dirt road until we figure out what we're going to do with it, whether we leave it dirt or whether we actually do what's needed to be done to turn it into an actual road, a street that can be driven on by all vehicles. Some of the bids were kind of all over the place. I think it was $265,000 to do just the repairs in front of maybe like the trucking center, where a lot of traffic turns there, and turn it into concrete and then asphalt in other places. But that didn't even repair everything that was going to need to be repaired eventually. So I chose to just mill it back to dirt and get a quote for that. Along with that, Arrowhead Street, Tomahawk, and Jaden. For bid 1, which is Pearson, Arrowhead was $37,750. Tomahawk was $38,380. Jaden was $18,850. Huffman is $44,175 for a total of $139,155. The other bids, the bid from APAC was more than twice the Pearson bid. The bid from Kansas Paving was right in between. So the lowest bid is 37, the highest bid was 84,000, the middle bid was 66,000. I am asking the council to go ahead and okay and approve the Pearson bid so we can go ahead and try to get in these streets this year if possible, or at least get on the books for as soon as they can get to it in the spring before they start doing bigger cities work and counties work, because unfortunately for us, we are put at the bottom of the list. Our projects aren't as big, they don't pay out as well, so we kind of get at the end of the year or before everything starts up and gets jumping, so. And I will stand for any questions, or if you guys, suggest doing something else with Huffman, or something else should be done. Right now, it's extremely unsafe. At least this way it makes it safe to where the city can save up for a few years and then decide what they wanna do with that road. Like I said before, we're almost done with this street plan. We have, roughly 3 streets, Sioux Courts, the Sioux Circle to finish, then we have Comanche Court, and Comanche Circle, and then the big 2 ticket items that we have is Huffman and Woodlawn. So hopefully if all goes well in the next 4 to 5 years, the plan should be done. At that point, we'll be looking to start over again. Most of these roads, and the reason why we're doing this way, are 15 to 25 years depending on the traffic. So the extensive that we'll need to repair like we did this time won't be there. So hopefully that'll give us a chance to actually save up some funds for new roads, new development, and things of that nature, so.
Thomas, I have one question. Do you have any idea why the disparity, huge disparity in the pricing between Pearson and APAC? It seems like quite a bit.
Well, the disparity, the big difference between those two is because APAC doesn't have the milling machine, so they'll have to subcontract that out to Dustraw, which is a company out of El Dorado, I believe. They don't have the milling machine, where Pearson is a turnkey operation. They're gonna come in, mill it, they'll fill it in, and go ahead and overlay it too. So, we won't have to pay the mobilization fee for the Dustraw, and then for also APAC to come out and do each one, so. And then I think with the APAC bid, they also put the mobilization fee on every street, which I don't know why they did that, but it kinda confused me. We just got this in today, to you guys, I just got the final bid from Kansas Paving yesterday, so some of these things have taken a while to even get the bids back on, so.
The 3 bids are apples to apples though, right? The exact same work.
Exact same street, straight, same, square footages, same yardages, the repairs, they're all the same. They all 3 got the same quotes. I actually have all 3 of them, if you guys would wanna look at those too, to make sure that we are comparing. But yes, all these streets are based on, and all these yardages are based on the work that PEC described needed to be done to these streets. And that's what we're going by. All these streets have been measured, they're all been marked up, so everybody got to go out and look at the same thing.
The mill and overlay process that's gonna be used on those streets, is that similar, or is it even the same company that did Prairie Creek?
No.
That's a chip
Oh,
and
well,
seal.
that was chip and seal?
That was a chip and seal.
Okay.
So basically, the mill and overlay is what we've been doing on all the other streets, since we got such a backlash from.
That's what I
Prairie
wanted
Creek.
to avoid.
So what it is basically it's like what just happened with the county, except for what we'll do. So when the county came out, they just mill next to the intersection, so you've seen kind of the grooves there. What they will do here is they will go in and fix all the bigger cracks, fix those, and then come in and mill the whole street down 2 inches.
Is that what they're doing in Park City right now? Person's in Park City right now doing that.
They're putting in just an overlay. So I don't wanna add any extra to it, so what we'll do, cause what happens is that puts a crack in between your curb and makes your street higher than your curb. And you'll have that crack that will develop in between there, so if you mill it down, then you can keep your street nice and level.
I think in your memo, it said these were budgeted for this year,
Yes.
2023. Do you know how much you budgeted for road repairs?
I believe it was 150,000. That's kind of what we have been doing every year, is about 150,000. There's a little more in there than I think that we actually bring in 179,000 or something like that, but we don't budget it at all. Just because in case the emergency comes up, we can set some back. That's what we were kind of hoping to do with Huffman. We just didn't have enough set back to do the complete repairs of Huffman. So if we were going to do Huffman, I would have had to put the other 3 streets on hold to save up the money to do it potentially next year.
So Huffman is a concern of mine. I was surprised to see that one listed on here to move forward with that. Just because we've had so many conversations about what exactly it is we want to do with that street and what the property owners along there are open to doing from a special assessment standpoint. I don't know of any real conversations that have gone on with those property owners from a kind of more formal standpoint. I know there's been informal conversations, but I'm not sure there's been any formal conversations. I hate for us to put money into that street without some clear direction from what they want to do. And if their decision is to not do special assessments, and that means we turn it back into gravel, I'm totally supportive of that, but I would hate to think we're gonna put money into that street. 6 months from now, them decide they want a full street, and the addition of those 2 things, what we're getting ready to do, and them wanting a fully repaved street or concrete or whatever it is, ends up being more than if we just slow down on Huffman, give Matt a chance to work with those property owners and get some input from them on how they want to move forward.
So before Tammy before she became administrator, Bob Conger actually had those conversations with those companies, and they told him point blank that they did not want to pay specials on that road. That's kind of the reason why it got set down the way it did, because it was such a high ticketed item. I honestly don't know how it didn't reach the very first road that needed to be done, because it was way worse than Prairie Creek was at the start. This road's been terrible since I started here 14 years ago. The only caveat, the only thing that I would say to that is, even if we don't do anything right now, I will be spending $20,000 or $30,000 to get that road up to safety standards, regardless of whether we're waiting for them to get on there or not, because one potential accident there, puts us in a bind. Them potholes, I don't know if anybody's driven it lately, but it's probably a foot and a half deep. My alternative to that is either to cut it out and fix that, or to come in with a asphalt now and hopefully roll it, and then it'll hold on long enough that, we could get a company in there to fix it, but I'm going to have to do something to that road. And I don't know what that cost is, but it's gonna be substantial.
And this is kind of what they're doing in Bel Air for the 53rd Street, when they made it back into gravel, and the thought is they're gonna have to do that anyway in the process, and so why not now, just use some of it? Can we do that? I know that's kind of what Bel Air talked about, so I'm just trying to understand.
For
You understand?
That's what this is.
Okay, that's
what
what
this
it
is.
Yeah.
It's to mill it,
Yeah.
crush it up, and make it a
Yes.
dirt road.
So whatever we do to this, if they decide they want, this is gonna have to be done either way.
That's what I was trying
They'll
to
have
get
to come in and mill it and pack it, and then they'll have to put rock on top of it, because you can't just put you can't just put a road on dirt. So they'll have to bring rock in and probably stack it up 6-8 inches, and then bring their asphalt in, or concrete. So we're probably looking at 8-10 inches of asphalt or concrete. Since we have semi trucks there, I wouldn't suggest putting just a 6-inch asphalt in there like you do for a normal car driven road. So, by the time we look at that, we're probably looking $500,000-600,000. Huffman is gonna cost more to fix than Woodlawn.
I understand all those things.
Yeah.
What I would say is when they said they didn't want to pave that street, I think in their head, their alternative was the city will pay to pave that street. If they understand that the alternatives are they pay to pave the street, or we're turning it back into a dirt road that is usable, but it is a dirt road, that might change their mind for clarity. Second of all, should they choose to want to pave the whole thing, the full amount, tearing it down and bringing it back up would be covered under those special assessments and paid by them, not by the general public. If we're getting ready to spend this $44,000 for that road right now, that's coming out of the street fund that could go towards other streets. I'm encouraging us slow down on Huffman, make that decision after we've had some clear input from those property owners.
So, anybody else?
You haven't had any formal bids of the repairs of, I mean, we've driven down, a couple of us have driven down there, we know the repairs need to be made immediately.
Yeah, the repairs cost,
what's
it
the
didn't
minimum
get put in here because I was
It-
gone and I was trying to put this together as fast as possible. I was at
It was
KCC.
on.
It's,
Oh, it is on here.
it's on the.
It just didn't go on the
Pearson
first
bid. I
page.
didn't put it
Oh,
on
it's
the.
just the repair?
It was on the
Just the
Pearson
repairs.
one at least.
Just the temporary repairs is $265,000
On the.
on the Pearson bid. So I had them give me a quote for turning it back and then also just the repairs to get it to where it's safe to drive on right now. If we don't turn it back to dirt. So that would be the concrete at the turns for Reyes Trucking, the concrete at the turns for American Mechanical, and then probably some concrete down by, Walls Harmon Huffman, since they also have commercial equipment. So the suggestions that they had, and then you also have the square yardages that they're suggesting. Not only did they give us a bid for it, but I believe, Kansas Paving and Apex also did. No, they didn't. But with Pearson being the lowest bid on everything else, I couldn't see that the other two would beat them repairing the road either, so.
I was thinking more just emergency repairs to get us through the next 6 months. I mean, this is adding concrete approaches and everything else. Is it fair to say, Thomas, that the full depth patching for 79,000 would be the minimum we could do to get us through the winter?
Pulled up patching.
Is line item
14.
yeah, line item base bid 14.
They didn't suggest that, just because when you have street that's not stable, next to street that you're patching, you'll just push it up to it, it doesn't, so like.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not
Right.
selling this as this is a proper
Right.
fix, it's, can you get us through?
Right, so like, when I go in, I have a patch right now to repair up on top of the overpass, right there on Woodlawn, I'm sure people have seen it. So I have to cut that out, dig out 12 inches, bring in all rock, let them pack that in, we'll pack that in, then I'll come back and dig 6 inches of that out and put in asphalt, or dig it out 8 inches. But I have to make sure that I have that edge there, because those semi trucks will just push that back out. If it doesn't settle and roll, and we don't get it packed hard enough, I'm just wasting my time putting that patch in. We also did 2 others on the south side of the road that have held up pretty good. I'm surprised with all the truck traffic we have now. But my hopes for those 2 is that they will hold on long enough until I can get Woodlawn fixed and finished, so they're temporary also.
How long ago did you do those?
Last year or the year before, so those within the last 2 years. And those 2 were actually kind of pushed upon us because KDOT reached out and said, listen, this is your road, this is yours, and I thought, well, it's a highway, it's an overpass, it's not mine. I said, no, you guys annex it. It is yours. We were getting phone calls, and we would like for you to, show us some attention. And so, we just went ahead and broke down and fixed it. It was, a few $1,000 just for a couple 8-foot by 8-foot squares.
We'll go back to Henry's question. So there was out of capital, there was $132,000 budgeted. There was $25,000 that's budgeted every year to go towards Huffman, to help us start to save for that. And then there's another $207,942 that was in contractuals for highways. So a portion of that would come out of the capital, and a portion of that would come out of the, general fund, or the general special highway contractors.
Just kind of my thoughts real quick is, how quickly can we get Matt out there maybe to meet with these folks and get a response back to the council? I mean, that's something we could expedite pretty quickly, or,
Yeah.
and,
It's,
I mean, to your,
I mean,
Yeah.
certainly, I'm not saying,
Yeah.
in time frame, but I think, because we've been talking about this street for years.
Yeah.
I realize it's in really, but I can't imagine
Yeah.
would make that big of a difference if we went to them and gave them that kind of time frame, that they could come together and make a decision with the understanding that no response is we're turning it back into dirt.
Right.
But isn't this something that we could approve the 3 streets and then
Yeah.
the mill can happen?
Yeah, and the only thing I would say to
It's not
Brian is,
dependent on the asphalt plants.
right, yeah, and the only thing I would say to Brian is I did get a received call from Pinnacle Homes last week, about how dangerous that road was and that their employees are afraid to drive on that road. That they literally have to go into oncoming traffic to drive down there because you could lose a whole car in one pothole that's down there. It is literally 20 foot long, a 1.5 foot deep, and probably 10 foot wide. So, I mean, I understand their concerns, so. I've received 4 or 5 calls on Huffman in the last 2 weeks, so.
So this may be one that we need to do a special meeting for, if we can get, sorry Matt, out
Well,
there really soon.
Well, the thing is, we've been pushing it down the road for 5-6 years now. Something needs to be done, and not later. I don't wanna be up here 5 years from now asking,
And it's just gonna deteriorate more over the winter months with freezing.
well, yeah, with this last rain, I can't even imagine with this 4 or 5 inches of rain we got. I'm sure that one of them's actually a small pond, the one I'm talking about out there, so. I haven't been out there yet, cause I didn't get back from Manhattan till 4:30, so, but I can almost guarantee that it's.
But you'd have what you need if we approve the top 3 and maybe a conditional approval on Huffman. if
We
they-
do a conditional
Yes,
improvement and.
the only thing is that I would have to bring back another bid, because this quote for all 3 is for doing all 4 months, so we will have probably, if we don't do them all at the same time, we will have another
They
mobilization.
priced it that way
Yeah,
together.
So that will most likely, to be able to get on the books, would need a special meeting, or quicker, right?
I don't know, it's supposed to get cold and start raining and sleeting and stuff, so I'm not even sure if we're even, I mean, we might be past that point.
Okay.
So we might have till the end of the year. Unfortunately.
So can we even do anything if he has to be sent back? Probably not. Just advise to go back and get the new bid with the 3?
Yeah, I mean, either you approve it the way it is, or have them go back for, separate out the bids and see whether
Well,
they change.
The bids are actually separate streets.
Oh, okay.
Each bid is a separate street, so I do have all 3 different bids on all 3 different roads. So even if you wanted to split them up, let's say APAC came in cheaper on Tomahawk than the other 2 did, we could have chose their bid over the other. I did that on purpose just to see if they all bid the same way on those streets, or if maybe one came in cheaper on Huffman or whatever it may be, so.
So the 3 streets together were one bid,
Okay.
and Huffman was a separate bid.
That's what I thought. I just
Yeah, so
wanted
the
to
Pearson
clarify.
bid for all 3 streets is $94,980.
Okay. Council, any further discussion, any initial thoughts? My initial thought is approve the 3, or asking you guys to approve the 3, and asking our new city administrator to start building some relationships.
I like that.
So I'll make a motion to approve 3 bids from Pearson, or the bid from Pearson for the 3 streets, Arrowhead, Tomahawk, and Jaden.
I'll second.
Motion by Richard, second by Kendra. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. Thank you. Last item on the
Thanks,
agenda.
Thomas.
Yes, thank you, Thomas. Last item on the agenda is adjournment. Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
I will make a motion to adjourn.
A second?
Motion by Richard, second by Brian. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Carries 5-0. We are adjourned. Thank you.